Alright, so in this tutorial, we are going to show our validation errors. Alright, so if we go into our comments, I'm going to call a method called setVisitorSessions, and then I will define this method here. So we need data to persist across controllers, so saving it into a session is how we are going to do that. So we're saving our error messages here. We're calling visitor here, and we're calling visitor in this method. So we need to cache this information. So we save this so we're not hitting the database multiple times. Alright, so now in our show, we can now say if we have errors. So if we have a session visitor errors defined, go ahead and create a div. I'm going to add CSS to this div, that's why I've made it. And then we have this method we've used before, and we give it a count of our errors. So if it's one error, it will be one error, two will be two errors. Alright, so we have this is done, and over here we can define a UL, and then we can go over our errors and then print into an li tag like that. We can end our loop and end our UL, end our div, and then finally end our if statement. If statement is ended, and if everything's worked, we should have it working. So it's here. So if we try and save nothing, we get 3 errors. So that's perfect, it works. And then when we try 1, we have 2 errors. So cool. Now we can have a look here. So this is done, but we have this problem. Every time we refresh our page, the errors are there. That's because we have sessions. We've set it here, but we never cleared it. So even if you leave the page and come back, it's always going to be there. So on our post controller, which is where we return to after commenting, so I'm going to create a method called clearSession, which will basically just iterate over an array that has sessions in it. In this case, just one so far. It has visitor errors in it. So we're just basically saying delete that session. Okay, so clear it out. So that way our view will not show anything. All right, but this is going to be called at some point, right? So now I'm saying call this after you call the show method. So after filter of the show method, call that. So if we reset this, we've called the show method again, it is gone. So this is good. So we can say that this is done. So unsuccessfully saved, repopulate the form. So if we say Kingsley and we say add comment, it says 2 errors and Kingsley is gone. That's not acceptable. So we need to persist that data. Again, over here using sessions, I can create visitor params, right? Copy all these params from here and put it into our session so it can survive one controller to the next. Over here, we also want to be able to clear that visitor params. So now I could define a method that will get the visitor comments, which would then basically replace what we have here, which is a blank detail. So copy our visitor comment service and paste it in here. But before we do that, we say if there is a visitor error, then we want to rebuild this information using the sessions visitor params that has survived one controller movement to the other. If not, if no error message, just crack on the way we were before. So now we could copy this method and paste it up here, and we can see the uses of our service object is coming in very handy. Refresh the screen, I'll just click here, it's fine. We can see Kingsley is displayed. We'll type an email address, submit, and we can see that is also remains there. So complete, now everything is cleared. So our clear session actually worked as well. So everything is done in this section. So the next we have this to do. But if we come back here, we've done a few things here. We've found out to use sessions to persist. We've used this visitor comment service, which is awesome and allows us to have code that we can test in isolation and reusable too. We had to restart the server when we created it because it's not in the model view or controller. We've used sessions to check for comments, and there's a lot in here. It's slightly more advanced than beginners, but using services like this keeps your code really clean, reusable, and easy to test when we start writing unit tests and things. All right, so that's it for this tutorial. I'll see you in the next one.